Hello, my name is Keith Komar. Welcome to Libertarian World. Today we're going to talk about Scott Drader and stepping stones. Now this is a trailer park he set up out in Napanee, and it's for the homeless people in the area. The reason that we're having this conversation today is that the town of Napanee has sent a cease and desist order to Scott, and they've asked him to remove the trailers, or they are going to fine him $10,000 and remove the trailers at his expense. Now, the town of Napanee itself has no infrastructure whatsoever to help out with the homeless issue in town. Apparently, there's over 100 homeless people in Napanee, in a town of 16,000 people. And from my conversation with the mayor, there is no budget to accommodate these people. So what Scott has done is he's put 5 trailers on his land, and he has 14 people living on his property that would otherwise be out in the cold. And with this cease and desist order that they've put to him, they've said they have to be gone on Monday and the trailers have to be taken off on Monday, or he's going to get fined, and they're going to take these at his expense. So the conversation that we want to have today is to go over the different reasons that the town is saying that this has to happen. Now, they have 3 different angles that they're coming at this from, and I want to address them all individually, but I want to let you know what they are. First off, they say this is a health risk, that people living there are in harm's way. Secondly, it's an eyesore. They're beautifying the downtown area, and this is not something that they want to have developing in downtown Napanee. And the third is that he is breaking a bylaw, a zoning bylaw. This property is not zoned for a trailer park per se. It is an industrial park where he lives. And so the bylaws say that you need 10 acres for a trailer park, and so on and so forth. So let's address these one at a time. The first issue that I'm going to talk about is being a health risk. So let's examine that a little bit. And he's had 2 health inspectors this week come out and check out his property, and they've approved him. They are not having any sewage issues. They're not having any electrical issues. They had electricians come out there and check it out. What Scott has set up right now is passed. It's been approved. So the next piece of this is, are these people going to be in more harm on the street, or are they going to be in more harm living on Scott's property? And I don't know how you can make the argument that putting these people out on the street isn't a larger health risk than living in a trailer on Scott's property. So I think that invalidates the first argument that we're having here. The second thing that we're going to discuss today is that it's an eyesore. And I understand that having 5 trailers on a guy's property isn't the most beautiful thing to see. But the alternative to this is people sleeping on the street. And I don't know what you would consider an eyesore more than having homeless people sleeping on your streets. Now, the third issue that we have here is the zoning bylaw. And yes, Scott is in violation of the zoning bylaw. It is zoned industrial. It is not zoned for a trailer park. It is not zoned to house this many people. And we understand that. And we do agree that we have to do something about that. This isn't a permanent situation, and Scott and I have had a long conversation about this, and he's seeking avenues on how to turn this into something more permanent for these people, and he understands that doing it on his property isn't the way to do that. Through our conversations, his admission here is that on a scale of 1 to 10, this is a 5 solution. It's not a 10, it's a 5. But it's still a 5. And that's better than a 0. And if you put these people out on the streets, they're back to a 0 situation where they have no help and no support. So we don't understand, and I don't understand why the town has been so adamant as to not work towards a solution on this with Scott. And I think that they would be remiss to continue the angle that they're taking on this, Because every time you send a health inspector out, every time you send an electrician out, this is going to cost somebody money. Usually it's the taxpayers. And fighting this in court is just going to cost the city money that they admittedly don't have. And we understand that. And then that's not the avenue that we would like to take. We would like to see the town of Napanee issue a variance or a stay on this order until the spring and allow Scott some time to put together a more permanent solution. And there's a lot of things in the work right now. So we would like to see that happen for Scott. There's another issue that comes up from this, and I want to examine that a little bit, and that's that the town of Napanee has a clause, a bylaw, that says that after December 1st, you can't remove people from their lodging. You can't just kick them out after December 1st. And that's why these orders have come with a deadline of November 25th, is because that is before the December 1st deadline. So I see where this is coming from, and why they're doing it now is that they know that they can't as of December 1st, and they have to act now if they want these people out. Which leads to the question of, why do you want these people out on the street? You don't have another solution for them. You have no shelter to put over their heads. You have nowhere to put them. So why would you want them on the street? And that's a question that only the mayor and the council can answer, because I have no answer for that. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. Another issue that comes up from this conversation is that the local government agencies have been using Scott's Place as a last resort for welfare, for ODSP, for people on CPP who have no lodging. And they seem to think that this is a good enough place to allow people to come and live there and get government assistance. So if you've already got support in that avenue, why again is the town fighting this? So we want to make sure that everybody understands that we know that this isn't a permanent solution. And we're working towards doing something more permanent for these people. But in the meantime, putting these people on the street is counterproductive to where we're going with this, and to the needs of the community. As the mayor of a town, you are committed to looking after all of your constituents, and that's top to bottom. That's not just the constituents that have businesses and make a lot of money. It's not just the constituents that complain that this is an eyesore, or that complain that this is a problem. This is directed to the constituents as well, who are the people who are on the street. They live in your town. They're people that need your representation, probably more so than the people that I spoke about earlier on. The people who need your most support are the ones who are being left out of this conversation, and they're the ones who are being left behind. And I don't think that's a good way to govern, and I don't think that's a good way to look after your community. Now, this issue is about as libertarian as it gets. It's a private solution to a problem that's arising. There's no government money involved. The people here are helping. They're not making a profit. This isn't about turning a profit. This is about helping people out, regardless of the cost and regardless of the circumstances. It's filling a need in the community that obviously there's a large hole, a large gap in the community for this area. And this is across Ontario now. This isn't just Napanee that's having this problem. This problem is arising everywhere. As housing costs soar and as rental costs soar, more and more people are being left behind. And I think the solution to this is going to be found. I think there's a free market solution to this. I believe it's micro homes myself. I believe that if the bylaws of the town would allow some micro homes to be built, and you could take the pressure off the renting market, it would solve a lot of these problems. And to that end, there's some work being done to allow this to happen in Napanee. We're getting there for that. But it all comes down to the fact that none of this is in place right now. And the only place these people have is Scott's stepping stone. So, what I'd like you to do today for me is, if you think that this is a good message, I want to get involved. Put on your boots, get out, let's help these people. Either show up to the protest Monday morning, show up to town council Tuesday night, show up with your wallet, show up with some donations, whether it's monetary, whether it's clothing, whether it's just a warm meal. Show up. Help these people out. And show them that a true libertarian perspective is community-based. It's not government-based. And it's felt from the heart. And that's what we want to show people, is that libertarianism doesn't mean that there is no help. What it means is that help has to come from yourself, and responsibility and accountability to your community to help these situations out. So I'm going to be there Tuesday night. I'm going to be there to help out Scott. I'm going to speak on his behalf to the town. If they want to find him, fine him. Let's do that. Let's get this in court. Let's have this heard. I would prefer a variance, but if you're not going to issue the variance, then issue the fine, and then we can take this to court and we can fight this properly. So that's my thought on this, is that if you're not going to proceed and help, then let's do the action, let's take the order, and let's take this to a court, and let's have that conversation in front of a judge, and let's let the legality of it all take its place and do it that way. So Tuesday night, we're showing up to the Napanee Town Hall. Everybody, come on out, help us out. If you like what you hear today, click the button, show some support to Libertarian World. We are taking human action. We are solving problems with community. We are not looking for government help. We are looking for people to get involved and solve these problems on the grassroots. So thank you for listening today, and enjoy your day, and click the like button.